Chris, hi, I hope it's going well. This is lesson 3. This time we're going to practice doing something slightly different. This is a big step up, okay? So we've got root or bass, chord. Now I could stay on that C chord for ages. It would sound a bit boring. One of the best ways of getting it to sound less boring is to put in an umpa type accompaniment by changing the C every other bar for what we call the dominant, which is the 5th up. Now again, they're next door to each other. That's the beauty of the accordion tuning. So instead of pa, where the is always C, we're going to change that to C and G and alternate. So on any button you find, let's start with C because it's we know where it is, but it could be anywhere. On any button you find, let's do bass, chord, and there's another bass, but instead of it's a G, but instead of it being part of the G chord, we're using it as part of the C chord. So it's going to go C, chord, G, chord, but that chord is always the C major chord. You can see we've got 3 fingers involved in this. We've got the ring finger for the bass note, the middle finger for the major chord, and then we've got the index finger for the dominant or the alternate bass note. The beauty of doing that is that your hand doesn't have to jump around, it's all right there. Now, before you think you've got it cracked, I'm now going to show you how to do it on a minor chord because it's slightly different. So major chord is ring, middle, ring, middle. Minor chord, remember, is ring, index. Right. So when we do that, we don't then use the index finger for the alternate bass note because it'll be jumping around. So we use the released middle finger for the alternate bass note, or for the dominant. So when we're doing majors, the middle finger plays the chord, the index plays the alternate umpa, the dominant. But when we do minor chords, the index does the chord, and the middle does the alternate dominant. So practice doing that on one bass note, and when you're happy with that, I just want you to try moving up. Stick to majors to start with. Now try it on G. Back to C. That's tricky because you've got to think of a whole little hand movement really. To G. Now you've probably worked out that the G has got 2 functions. First function is the dominant of C. And there we are with the G in its own right as the new bass note for the new chord. So bass, but now it's the dominant. So it does 2 roles. It's the alternate bass note or the dominant of this chord, but it is the root or the main bass note of that one. So as I say, practice it majors, then minors with different fingering, and when you're feeling really brave, why don't you do 1 minor and 1 major? So you could do C minor followed by G major, G major, That's a big leap because you've got to change fingers as well as changing columns of keys. So good luck with that. Keep up the practice.